What's up, guys? So today I'm going to be taking you through an exercise that I popularized some years back. A few people have kind of reclaimed it for themselves, should we say, added a band to it and said it's a completely new exercise. It's one of those I wrote about 4-5 years ago. Anyway, I'm just going to show you how to properly perform what I call landmine shouldered lunges, or that's what I originally called them. So I'm going to show you how to perform the exercise, how to properly execute, kind of mention a few programming tips. It's a common exercise which for some people can be a little bit uncomfortable, and I'll tell you how to kind of combat that. And by uncomfortable, I don't necessarily mean uncomfortable in the right way. I mean, it can kind of aggravate your shoulders a little bit, just the position if you're putting the bar on wrong. So today is kind of clearing that up, clearing up some confusion, making sure you're performing them to the best of your ability and getting the most out of them, because they're brilliant glutes, quadriceps focused exercise, really great for your entire posterior chain. So if you want to grow your glutes, this is a good one. All right. Now, I've got my standard landmine set up, and I've just put on a 10 kg plate there, so like 22-pound plate on the end. Now, I've found with these, like I've worked up to, I think 40 kilos on the end of the bar. You don't count the bar weight with landmine stuff, by the way, just in case you didn't know that. So even though the bar's 20 kilos, 45 pounds, you're not going to count the weight of the bar, you're just going to count the weight on the end. So I've worked up to about 80 kilos on the end pretty comfortably for like sets of 8 to 10 with these ones. So you can get some significant loading from a single leg exercise standpoint. So we're just going to start super light. Now, whipping the bar up, all right? Nice straight back position. Think of kind of like your manual labor kind of position, like you're getting a box up, all right? But we're going to whip that bar up, okay? And then just pop it on our shoulder. Now, this is the position a lot of people feel more uncomfortable in because they've got this bare bit of steel over their shoulder or kind of on their traps, all right? Now, what I recommend with this one is to get one of those bar pads, like a Hampton bar pad, for example. MiraFit doing them as well, and just actually put it on the end of the bar. And it might not fit properly, but it kind of just offers a little bit of cushioning on that bar. You can also use a towel. You can also use like an AirX balance pad or something like that if you want to, but an AirX pad can be a little bit large for this. I'm okay without. But if I was putting, 3-4 times maybe weight on this, then I'd start to struggle a little bit, and I would need that bar pad on the thick part of the bar. I've got this on my shoulder. I've got it kind of in my upper trap and just resting in my upper trap. And the key here is to lean forward to start off with, all right? I don't want to be here in that upright position because actually right now it's hitting my clavicle, which isn't nice. But also I'm kind of shifting that emphasis a little bit more into my hips and my glutes by leaning into it. It's also a nicer path for the bar to travel. So I'm going to hold on here. I see some people hold on here, and that's absolutely fine. I personally prefer to hold on here, but it's kind of up to you, whatever feels good with this one. So I'm leaning into it, and I'm going to take my opposite leg back. So the side that's forward is going to be the side where the bar is on my shoulder. So the bar's on my left shoulder. I've got my left leg doing the work. My right leg's going to be going back. Now, I've seen a lot of people kind of do it on the other shoulder. I prefer this approach. It feels more stable. I like the load directly over your hips, so I do prefer this stuff. I'm leaning into it. I've got that load on one leg. I'm going to take a big step back. And as you can see in that bottom position, I might shave the knee on the floor, go as deep as what's comfortable for you. But what you'll notice is that torso angle is kind of very forward leaning. My knees over my toes as well at the same time. And then drive straight back up in a straight line. So down, graze the floor if you can, and then drive straight back up. You don't always have to go all the way to the floor. You can kind of do like a motion like this and just kind of hover that knee off the floor. Or you can come all the way down if you've got that extra range of motion. So as you can see, for a single leg exercise, it's actually very, very stable, okay? Once you've finished, switch your shoulders, make sure you've got that same position, little bit of balance on that one leg, big step back, and drive through. And it's almost like a forward kind of drive. So here, and drive through. Here, and drive through. Another variation is with a resistance band. It's not a new variation. They said they came up with a completely brand new exercise. It's the same exercise with a resistance band added, but I do like the idea. The argument is that with a landmine, because of just the basic biomechanics involved, at the top of a landmine movement, you're lifting less weight than at the bottom of the movement. Now, I think some people massively blow this out of proportion. The the strength profile doesn't match the resistance curve, whatever. The thing is with this one is now I've measured it, I've done the measurements, I've weighed it in different points as you lift it up, and it's actually only about 2 kilos to 4 kilos tops lighter at the top of the landmine, and that's about 6 feet in the air, by the way, because obviously it's going to get lighter and lighter as you come up. But how much lighter it gets, you know, if we're talking 2-3 kilos, you know, maybe 5 pounds, give or take, at the top, about 6 foot in the air, okay, if it's that much lighter at the top, it's not making a big difference. So you don't have to be adding a resistance band to compensate for the drop in load at the top. However, I do like the feel of it, and if you want that that accommodating resistance and for the increased load at the top, the resistance band is a good shout. Now, shorten the resistance bands to kind of whatever you want to. I tend to just tie a little knot in there because you will need it a little bit shorter for this. And then all you're going to do is step on your resistance band and put it on the end, okay? So as you can see at the top of the movement, the band's loading me a little bit more. Now, if you're super tall, if you're like 6'7" or something, you've got the bar all the way up here, you probably don't need to shorten that resistance band at all. But me at 6 foot tall, I do need to just shorten that a little bit, all right? So same position, I'm here, I'm holding, I'm getting nice and deep. And as you can see, that band is providing additional load at the top and unloading a little bit more at the bottom. So again, that's another variation that I quite like. You can also do them stood on a small step if you want to add a bit of a deficit to it. So by a deficit, obviously, it means your knee goes below the height of the floor, okay? So you can add a bit of a deficit into that as well. I don't mind it, you know, but it can be a slightly awkward setup. So now the basics to start off with, without the resistance band. If you want to add the resistance band at a later point, you'll do so. But that's the basic setup. I tend to program these as more of like a secondary kind of exercise, or somewhere like fourth or something in a training plan. So you might do, for example, let's say a glutes focused workout, you might do some hip thrusts, some deep squats, and then afterwards you might do some RDLs followed by maybe some single leg landmine shouldered lunges, or, you know, another variation similar. So I'll tend to kind of program these around third or fourth within a workout. So I definitely wouldn't be using this as like one of your meat and potatoes lifts, but I do see some benefits to adding them in there, because just the amount of load that you can use and place through one leg and one side glute at a time with this, compared to even, for example, step ups, you know, reverse lunges, deficit reverse lunges and things like that, okay? But anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the little tutorial. And let me know if you have any thoughts, any comments, drop them below. Otherwise, make sure you do subscribe to my channel, and I will see you very soon.